In the late 15th century, European nations were fervently seeking new trade routes to access the wealth of the East. The age was characterized by a thirst for exploration, driven by the lucrative spice trade that Europe depended on. Spices were highly prized, as they were used for food flavoring, preservation, and medicine. A new maritime passage to Asia could not only lead to the treasures of India, but also break the Arab trading monopoly in the region. The main players in this quest were Portugal and Spain, each determined to discover a route around the obstacles of the well-guarded routes dominated by Middle Eastern traders. Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama made the first successful trip to India by sea in 1498. His voyage marked the beginning of European influence in the Indian subcontinent. Landing at Calicut, now Kozhikode, da Gama's arrival was not just a momentous navigational achievement, but also a starting point for European colonization and eventual control. India was a known destination, famous for its riches and stories of splendor, but reaching it directly by sea opened new avenues. It wasn't just India's spices or textiles that lured explorers, but the potential to tap into the flourishing internal and external trade networks of the subcontinent. European advent continued with further expeditions and explorations from other nations like England, France, and the Netherlands, each eager to claim a piece of the lucrative trade. By the early 1600s, the English East India Company was established, heralding not only trade opportunities, but also a slow-growing European foothold on Indian soil. This marked a profound shift in global trade and geopolitical dynamics, laying the groundwork for the emergence of the modern European colonial empires. It was a beginning that would not just shape the histories of the European nations, but also alter the course of India's history significantly. The quest for new trade routes in the late 15th century was driven by Europe's dependence on the spice trade, leading to exploration and eventual colonization. Portugal and Spain were key players in seeking routes to Asia, aiming to bypass Middle Eastern traders and access India's wealth directly. Vasco da Gama's successful sea voyage to India in 1498 marked the start of European influence and control in the Indian subcontinent. The establishment of the English East India Company in the early 1600s signaled growing European presence and eventual British colonial rule in India. The interactions between Europe and India during this period laid the foundation for modern colonial empires and significantly impacted both continents' histories.